Our agenda today is as follows. Whatever we got, whether it's for meetings or events, our team likes to start by setting community agreements. These help ground us, build trust. Next, speak to your experience. Everyone's voice matters, so please don't run over each other on their conversations. Step up, step back. That will be step up in order to say something, then step back in order to listen to acknowledge. And last, for certain memories, stay engaged. We're going to look at order to do that step.
Okay, housekeeping. The bathroom, when you go out the door, you just keep straight and instead of left. And all of you should have had gotten a card. Yeah. This card at the table is basically the road of the borders. And then
Next, we're going to go to the iceberg. Okay, for the iceberg, what we're going to do is have a warm-up. We're going to have a quick interactive pose. So please stand the QR code to put in the measurement to meet your phone. And we suggest your question before we share one word to describe how you feel about our schools right now. How do you feel about East St. schools, school district at this point?
we'll give everyone 2 minutes to answer.
Everybody have it with their phones? Okay. What word? All right. So with this one word, our table discussion, what we're going to do, we're going to look at every table in order to have small groups. Now we're moving to our small group discussion. And in your small group, we're going to look at order for us to interact. So guys, please get up, move to the different tables, especially you young folks. Move to the different tables, then we can have discussions on how in order to go about making sure that this is an interactive event. Yes. No. So, the school board members have informed us that several of them have not responded to our request for them to go on the program. And the one that did respond, actually, she told me she was affected by a storm last night. So she's not able to come at this time. However, it's been several times that we've actually reached out to them. And so what we're having here is, how do you feel about that? And maybe one of the questions that we're going to look at to do. How do you feel about the fact that they haven't been here in honesty and had discussions on how to move the district forward? Okay? So, let's focus. Put out the different tables. Not just their table. And then we're going to show you, we're going to discuss certain types of topics that we're going to bring up here on the table about how we move this forward and what you guys want to do. After we're going to have a table
that, we just gonna read out some of the responses on the poll. Well, I'll read out all of them, not that much. We got discouraged, workable, working, struggle, political, informed, engaged, okay, happy, dysfunctional, love, disappointed, hopeful, it's alright, sad, resourceful, below average, planning, unproductive, adventurous, okay, shocked, better, kids, fearful, pillow, trying, down, could be better, unorganized, bored, disgusted, God, bored, athlete, and terrible. Any responses from that, or anyone want to share why you put the work they put? Deja?
I don't necessarily have a response for that, but I think I have a question. They were asking if the responses that they give out will be shared back to the board members.
If our responses will be shared, one that I can discuss now? Yes. Yes, what we're gonna have is a table leader who'd like to talk about whatever your response is. You talk about Speak to the mic.
Well, we live. It's for Facebook. Yeah. Okay. Good. Gotcha.
So for clarity, folks, this is being recorded. The school board cannot be here, but we're going to make sure they hear what's actually going on, and we're all accountable for not being here. So we need y'all to speak to the mic so they can hear you clearly. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So, we're going to go to
I'm
the
sorry,
next
that was my fault.
couple of questions. And next couple of responses. And I would like to say, okay, hopeful. Who responded with hopeful? Okay, go ahead, girl. Here you go.
The reason I said hopeful is because I agree with what was said about academics, but because District 189 was really good job on their Facebook page of sharing what students are doing at middle schools and high schools. I probably missed what they do in the elementary school. But I say hopeful because they share all the good things they're doing, the good programs, the schools that are accepted. So what they don't tell us about the schools that are not doing it great, when I see on their Facebook page, if they are doing the middle school or high school, it makes me hopeful that, you know, things can turn around. Turning around a season ship is not easy, but it is possible.
All right, thank you for all our responses. Now at this time, we can continue with the table discussions. The questions are pulled up short. Alright, I'm gonna read them out too. The first one is, what issues matters most in District 189 schools? The second one, what changes would make the biggest difference in our schools? And the last, what would a good relationship with the school board look like? You all will have 20 minutes to discuss, and there will be share-outs at the end.
So, table, start your discussion. Yeah, what we're going to do a 10-minute discussion on it. So the tables, please do a 10-minute discussion.
It's called users.
This brush is good. But that is so good. You know, it's hard to make. You're not. Masking wasn't the right word. It was just kind of,
Masking?
no, no. It was more so like, it almost came off like they were doing something wrong. Instead of just saying like, hey, voice your opinion loudly so we can make sure that sometimes you gotta do the why first. That makes sense. You went from the what to the why, so it's like, oh. Some people gotta know why. That book they were reading, that it radicalized you.
Straight, no chasing.
No, listen, they made a point in the book. The book it says facts don't always lead to what you think it leads to. It's a whole chapter on that.
2 minutes, please. 2 minutes. Remember, we're going to need a table and gap. We're going to talk about this. So 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Well, it's not like they really talking.
I hate
About what? I don't know what you mean. Oh, I don't know what I thought you said. Definitely did that. That been. All we gotta do is change one word. I don't know, you tell me. Okay. What did the board say? It was me.
She said, I have reservations for the work.
Next thing.
Father, I didn't agree with you. I don't like it, but different day and age, you use more accountability.
30 seconds. Start wrapping up the conversation.
And the fact that it matters is the but if you can get them in the room and talk to them about it. So,
Maybe I said that to the brother.
but the name can be on one show, so I can't participate. So I get it.
Hello, everyone. I know you guys are actually very engaged in the table discussion. I know, I think you're all over the place. But what we're going to do is this. We're going to go around and we're going to ask the questions to the different tables. So you guys go ahead and make sure you look and see who wants to be your table captain or discuss those issues. And of course, we would love to have a young person who's engaged in order to do that. Go ahead.
Alright, so I guess I'll start over here. So the first question, what issues matter the most in District 189 schools? Who will answer?
Somebody else.
We was kind of discussing the phone situation. And I'm one of the parents that was for the phones. Because it's got a phone East Side. And I got a daughter East Side. And she's one of the students that straight A's, straight, all these and whatever. And she was willing to, but you got the other 89 that want to be their own. So, it's just got their pros and cons.
Okay. Thank you. We have two questions. We're going to try to keep them to like 1 minute answer. So everybody can kind of give everybody else. So yeah, go ahead. That's 2 questions.
30 seconds is
All right, the second one, what changes will make the biggest difference in our schools?
Say go to the other church. So we're going to go to back to the right. Yeah, either one of them first say you want to ask. So either question.
Alright.
Either
I'm
question.
gonna ask each table the first question. I'm gonna ask each table.
Do that, yeah.
What issues matter the most in District 189 schools?
You got it.
We said, student academics because some, like, schools for East Side is mostly surrounded, most about, but it's mostly about athletics, not academics. And some students work really hard, but they're not getting acknowledged for, like, academics.
So not getting the same recognition that athletes do for their accomplishments. So not getting the same recognition that athletes do for the same kind of accomplishments that you guys do in the classroom.
You said yes. She said yes.
All right, cool.
Alright, next. What issues matter the most in District 189 schools?
We want the young people to speak, so can we start here with one?
What issues matter the most in District 189 schools?
I would like to change the stalls in the bathroom because it don't be no like stalls in the bathroom for like girls, and they need like privacy in the bathroom for themselves. And people like some people like grown ups who like go in the bathroom and see them, and they don't have no door to close.
That's horrible. That's a middle school. That's a middle school.
At my school, I would like to change my classroom because my classroom is dirty, but I love math and reading and stuff because that helps me understand. Math is my favorite thing to do.
Okay, last will be, what will be a good relationship with the school board like you?
bills or something that certain kids depend on. And they won't even state these bills yet when they come, the bills aren't advertising or something I'm not even helping. That was the first question. And we also talked about the third question. What would a good relationship with the school board look like? And we thought that communication would be the start of everything. Because like you said, a lot of us probably can name all of our school board. And they don't interact with the community as I feel that they should. This is an example of that. And also, it's a community thing. Because I know personally, it wasn't until I started working with L.O.V.E that I knew that the word means to the public. I didn't know that because it's not a community thing. They don't communicate when the community does reach out. We do have our concerns, and they say, oh, we take it, oh, we look at it, what happens after that? After you take the concerns, and after you respond, what happens? So I feel like it definitely needs to be a relationship with the person that is communication. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you guys for your responses to those table topic discussion questions. And now what we're going to do is we're going to transition to our panels where we already have some prepared questions for everybody. But what we're going to do is we're going to discuss those. We have Ms. Jemima Reed. Ms. Reed, who is a rising senior. Anything was sent out of the charter school, correct? The charter school. And then we also have Dr. Christina Rupert. She's going to have the first questions.
Okay, so the first question is, what do you see as the most urgent challenge facing our schools?
And this may or may
school board issues that we issue in the schools. And that's something that I feel as it needs to be worked on. And then going back to the athletics, I'm not taking away anything from the athletic department. East St. Louis has a great athletic department, but we also have the different academic programs that also need to be pushed to the forefront. That also needs to be spotlighted and highlighted because good things come out of those programs as well.
One of the urgent challenges that I see facing schools that's important to me is attendance. Our attendance policies aren't really strict, and I would even call myself, like I said, I'm a recent graduate. I am a great student, but I was barely at school. And they pass everybody, no matter how much you go to school. I feel like the attendance portion of the entire district needs to be stricter. The kids aren't going out to school as much as they need to, and they're not getting in any type of trouble if they're not attending. Like there's no penalties for just not showing up. Or not showing up as much as you should. Like you should be in school every day, but school open. And then on top of that, they cancel school for anything. So it's like as of lately, anytime there's anything going on, all of a sudden school is canceled. They never cancel school that was when we were younger. Like we were in school and sleep is snow.
Okay, very good. And so, based on your responses and what we're hearing, attendance will have a direct impact on your academic performance, which brings me to my next question. Despite recent improvements, only 15.3% of students met or exceeded expectations in English language arts, and just 7% did
Thank you. Katrina, there was something that said about resources, but is there an ability to offer extra tutelage to the kids who are not meeting at certain levels, where they can go either before school or after school to tackle some of the deficiencies that exist? Again, I'm asking, I don't know if that exists now or if resources are available to have something like that.
Actually, yes. At Eastside, they do tutoring on Tuesdays, if I'm not mistaken. At Charter, they also have like a Saturday school type program you can use your work on, so it is extra helpful, I guess you could say. We have one more question. So do we not have after school programs and other tutelage programs available in school? Actually, I'm not sure. I don't remember anything about after school programs versus I was looking back and I was like 7 years ago, so I'm not sure. So all the schools might not have after school programs available? Okay. And then our table also is considering, while salaries are going up, student scores are going down, that's a problem. And, yeah, that's the issue for us, that we're talking about at our table. And you gave us statistics that despite recent improvements, only 15.3% of the students met or exceeded expectations in the English language arts, and 7% in math. So across Illinois, where our students are ranking compared to other students appear to go down, the salaries of the people that you ask to come here to this program seem to be going up. And our table is looking at that and raising a question about that. The other thing is there not a tie-in for if your school or your district doesn't meet certain expectations, then there should be then an uplift of salary. Your performance needs to be tied together. So if you make it happen academically, you make it happen on other parts.
Okay, so I fully agree with that. And let me just say why. Because there are certain variables that people don't know about. You assume that most students fail because of the teacher, or if you were to tie me in with the students in my class because of their performance, but that student only comes to school 2 days one week, 3 days another week, or they miss most Mondays, it's really hard to monitor that. I call the parent, I send notice, I did whatever I need to try to get the student to school. So I'm just saying there are variables. I'm not saying it's the only thing. And salary, I'm not going to get deep on salaries, but I did want to mention about the targeted interventions. Generally, the interventions are scheduled progress monitoring. So, you know anything about that, they give you a test, and then they come back and they test you again on that. And then they come back and they see about your progress on that original testing. And then you build from where you are. And that's just kind of what I remember that. I'm recently retired. But those also 22, 23 scores. I'm hoping they will have some increases. I don't know if you can get many more small classrooms, because most of them are pretty small. But we do need to pay attention to those students that are not at grade level, and not teach to the grade level, but teach to the student. I strongly believe that, and special education background, and so you teach to the student. And sometimes, because of, and
some laws, some bureaucracy, some guidelines. Teachers have to do what they have to do, but that student is the one that's losing out. So, there are some things in place for that. There's tutoring in the schools. Unfortunately, to me, they start too late. Like I said, come out. It's starting in October, school starting in August. It's kind of late. You start in tutoring, and then you end. I think they need more one-on-one.
And I hear you on the variables. Definitely, you can't teach a child that's not there, but there is something about creating a climate that no matter what happens to this child, I'm still going to be paid, or I'm still going to get an increase no matter what. I'm just saying there needs to be more tied into that, because if I help build that district up and I help build those scores, and I know that my salary is tied into it, I think I'm going to work a little different than no matter what happens to this child, I'm going to be here. It just creates an interesting environment.
So, what we're going to do is this. We have one answer on this question, but we're going to bring it to it. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to see if we can make sure we limit the answers to 2 minutes, please.
Well, I know I have talking this. I have a younger sister. She's at District 199. She's actually at East Side. And the bus drivers, they're not coming on time for these kids to get picked up on time and get to school. I know that for a fact. And that's something that the school board members can control. Also, it's a lot of educators that's there and that has been there, just like these school board members, that's content getting those fat checks and knowing that I'm untouchable. I'm not that you can't find me. I teach the kids that are going to be taught and everybody else. It is what it is, I'm still going to happen. And that's how a lot of educators are in this city. Sorry, but I'm sorry, it's the truth.
Okay. Very, very serious. Very, very statement answers. Okay. What we're going to do is instead of limiting on this one question, one topic, we're going to go to the next one.
Okay, the next question, the next thing we have now is, with the recent attempt by the Department of Education to take back $19 million in pandemic relief funds, which was later blocked by a federal judge, what plan do you think the Board of Education should have in place to protect our district from basically falling on the water?
Okay. How will you know? What plans are in place in order to protect those critical values? I don't know. We're looking for some suggestions. And maybe it's a school board question.
It's a school board question.
Directly. Oh, go ahead.
Hi everybody, I'm Shantae. I have a lot on this, and I was thinking that in terms of this, we should be coming together. You would be informed of what's happening on a federal, state, and local level when it comes to the funds that are allocated for us or that we can go after. And if there's a chance that funding could be impacted, then we need to organize
it would be great to know what kind of advocacy the school board is doing and the district as a whole is doing in reaching out to our federal legislators in the House and in the Senate to see how this could be combated. So it's made a statement.
Thank you for that.
Great point.
Thank you. So this will be our last question. And as we don't have the speakers out, but again, we're going to take this back. But we do have some parents here who are very spirited, seem very concerned. So, we can all partake in this next question, which is how do you make sure students, parents, and educators feel truly heard and included in decisions? So I'm going to flip this a little bit for the parents to say, how are you going to ensure that you're taking the appropriate role, right, to make sure that your child, that you're advocating for your students, and that your students are present, and do not have no attendance, and if the educators are not teaching to the student, as we heard, but rather to the grade level, that your child, your student is getting the assistance that they need. So as parents, as community leaders, we have a role to play in that as well. So we want to make sure that you all are doing all that you can, because it all starts at home. That's what I was always taught. It all starts at home. And so I was a big advocate for my children when they were students. The teachers, I didn't allow them to just call me when something went wrong. And, they would tell me that they didn't need to meet with me because my students were doing well. You're going to meet with me, and you're going to tell me how well they're doing. We're going to meet on that level as well. You're not only going to meet with me when something is wrong. So you have to make sure you open those lines of communication and that they understand. You're going to see this fast. I'm coming about mine. I'm concerned about mine. And I don't want it to be too late, when they're too far behind. So I want to be communicating the entire time. So that's something, again, how do you make sure students, parents, and educators feel truly heard and included in decisions? And what will you do beyond the needs and gifts to keep that connection strong? That's a question. Oh, sure.
Okay. My name is Gloria Hicks. I'm part of the team called Parent United to Change. And we do meet with the school board to discuss the meals, to discuss the busing. And he's going to take out information so y'all can join it, because even with the parents saying that you can't contact the school, call the school board, get the number. They will call you back. And if you don't get it from the school, call the board and let them know. You can't just accept what they do to you because he's your kid. And that's what we do. We stand up for the families and we fight for us. And since they won't come to help, everybody in here should go to the school board meeting or call and set up a meeting there. Because if they don't want to come to help, go to them. You got to fight fire to fire.
Absolutely.
Great point. Great point. Any other comments?
Yes, just to add to what,
Keep going.
to add to what you were saying, and the woman behind me, I'm one of the parents that engage with my schools, with my kids, my kids, want to see their faces, teachers and all that, to know that they got my schedule numbers, and they call me when they're doing good as well as bad. So yes, I really feel like
approach our next question. Ms. Brown, would I would say something before you leave, because you have another thing. Oh. Yes. So, Ms. Rocker, or